This video is intended to provide an overview of the solution to the in-class problem in Lecture 3 without technology limitations that we were experiencing in class. So I have a TechMaker blank document, which I got from File New, or by clicking this white piece of paper with the green arrow and a blank document. LaTeX document needs to know what type of document class it is, so let's put that first. There's some optional arguments. I'm going to say that I want to have 12-point font. I'm going to use the article class that is built in. I need to tell it to begin the document and then the corresponding end document. The end document is the very, very, very last command in this entire file. Above where it says begin document is where I put any packages. So in the problem statement for this, it mentions the package book tabs. So I'm going to say use package, and I pressed tab and it auto-completed. I don't have any particular optional things, so I don't need these square brackets, but the required thing is the name of the package. I also want to include a title. The title goes before the begin document. You can say title, and then inside of the curly braces, I can put what I want to say. Let me say applied numerical computing, and I want to control the page or the line break, so I'm going to say // and for scientists and engineers. I can put author and do the same idea. And I can put the date, and actually for the date, I'm not going to put a numerical value, I'm going to put what this exercise is. So this is in-class problem. There is a command for LaTeX to make it look fancy. /LaTeX curly braces, empty curly braces. This is basics. But I'm also going to call this sample or simple version from scratch. All right. In order to actually have the title appear in between begin document and end document, I need to say make title. All right. I discussed this briefly, but I'll overview it slowly here. This is the area where we get this to run. If there's no bibliography, you do not want to run the bib file, so you can select PDF LaTeX, run that, and then view PDF, and it will make an update. You can click on options and configure TechMaker, and I believe in a Mac this is under file preferences and TechMaker quick build. So I can choose the option of PDF LaTeX plus view PDF, which is just the same sequence of events I just clicked separately. I can choose my quick build to do those two options. So now if I click quick build, it will do the same thing and it's going to update the code on the right. When we start to do bibliography files, usually the second option is more preferable. It runs PDF LaTeX once, it updates the bibliography, but then it needs to fix any cross-references, and so it just runs PDF LaTeX 2 more times just to check that all the cross-references are up to date, and then finally we'll display the PDF. But for now I'm going to set it back to just PDF LaTeX and view PDF because I do not have any bibliography file. So this is a starting point for sort of any article related document, or your computational assignment 1 could start from this level of detail. I'm going to make 2 sections, section for the part 1 solution and section for the part 2 solution. These correspond to the numbering that I had in the assignment page. All right, so for a table, begin table, and if I press tab, it will finish it. Inside, oh, I didn't want title. wrong one I was trying to finish. And table. Then inside of the begin table, we want to center this thing, begin tabular. I'll come back to that. I also want to center. So I should have said first, begin, and then that. So inside of the begin table pair of begin and end, I wanted to say begin center because I would like to center what comes next. The tabular is where I actually put the part that is the table. So the outer part tells me that this is going to be like numbered, like it's going to be table 1 or table 2, but the tabular is where the actual content is that gets aligned. Okay. So this is centered. This dot is how many columns do I want to have, and do I want them left, center, or right aligned? So I want to do a column with 4 left aligned columns, so left, 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 4 of those, and that's what I need. I can optionally tell my table that I would like it to appear here, top, bottom, on the next page, and so that's a very common that you'll see, this square bracket HTBP. I also want my caption to appear not inside of the actual tabular part, but on top. And so I put my caption up here, and there's a spot where I can put stuff in. So I want it to match what's in my example, which is parameter values for 2 cases. All right, so now I'm ready for actually doing stuff with the table. For book tabs, it has some nice features where you can get a thicker top and bottom line by saying top rule, and at the bottom saying bottom rule. These are just straight horizontal lines that are a little bit thicker. So those just look nice. So I have a top rule and a bottom rule that surround my table. Typically, we don't do vertical lines in professional quality tables, but if we needed to, we would put that as the pipe symbol. That straight line that's on my keyboard is above the enter key. That would put vertical lines between each of those columns, and we'll see what that looks like when I run this in a moment. So I'm going to put simply column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4. These are going to be my headings. They are each separated by an ampersand. I use the 2 slashes at the end to break the line. I can put a mid rule just to separate my heading from the rest of the stuff. I'm going to put in, just for now, A, and the number I wanted was, our letter is hour, and 1.0 and 1.0 / next row was B1 and H and 1.0 and 1.0 / next one would be B2 and nanograms, hours, milliliters, 1 and 1.0 and 1.0 / and then I've got my bottom row. So I can run this. So notice a few things. Putting these vertical lines, put the vertical lines in the table, but they don't look as professional, so let's just go without them. So that gave us space. I can put in what my desired column headings were, which was parameter, units, case 1, and case 2. Additionally, if you notice the output here, there were no superscripts, there were no subscripts. This is a typo, this should be a 0. And there was not formatted like mathematics. So to do that, we're going to put the $signs around. And we want to put underscores to do subscripts. And we can do this unit with a superscript for a 1. And this is actually a -1 that we want, so that was a typo. A superscript, I'm going to put curly brace to show everything that gets superscripted. together. If I didn't put the curly brace, it would only superscript the minus sign and not the 1. So I'll show that difference. So that's what this both done. If I just said superscript minus 1, see how the superscript only was the minus. So, and then the curly braces don't actually print when they're in math mode. They just say keep this cluster of things together. So that's the preference. So that's the first table. I want to reference that first table, so cross-referencing it. I need to put a label, and I don't want to put my label inside of this tabular environment, so much like the caption is between the center and the tabular, I'm going to put the label between the center and the tabular. So label, let's call this table.simple. And I'm just saving some space. It won't do anything right now. If I run it, it won't show anything. So I'm just going to put in table, cross-reference, reference. It tells me I have a label called table simple. I can press tab and it will finish that out. We have some stuff. I can run that. And you notice the first time it runs, there's question marks. It has only run PDF LaTeX one time. It noticed there was a cross-reference, but it was reading from top to bottom. So it says there's a cross-reference here, but I haven't seen that label yet, so it leaves a blank. When it gets to here, it knows that the label exists, but it hasn't been able to hook those together. So if we run it again, it updates those links. So that's why in the options, when we have the bibliography in the quick build, it wants you to run PDF LaTeX multiple times. Okay, so that is that simple table. For the sake of expedience in this video, I'm going to pause. I have selected the solution to the second table, and I'm just going to highlight the difference between the two. So this one we have labeled it multi-column, and everything else about it is the same except for the text that is in the caption. And then I wanted this solution to have this column have basically merge and center. So using the command multi-column, I merged 4 columns and centered them and put this text there. Right? I could have said let's merge 3 columns and center it and other. That would result in it was in this spot. I did that. I was looking for the bottom one. That merged these 3 columns and made a label centered or left aligned over the 4th column. Right? So I could change it to 2, and I could have 2 things multi-column if I wanted to. The thing that goes in the multi-column heading gets surrounded by curly braces. So that would be these 2 columns, these 2 columns. Okay, so I'm going to go back to that structure I had at first with the 4-column format. Okay, and so that is the second table, and the cross-reference is now updated that we've run this multiple times. So that is a solution for the in-class problem for today. It will be in the folder for this class under CHE class FA20 in-class problem solutions LaTeX. This one is called ICP LaTeX Basics Simple version. The LaTeX Basics is the actual code I used to generate the problem statement. And the problem statement is also under the CHE class FA20 in-class problem activities LaTeX folder.